Okay, let's do this. Since the last video, we've gotten way more leaks from the new edition rulebooks, and we're going to go through the ones we found. And I say we, I mean people on my Discord. I take no credit. Some of these we're going to compare against what's in the old rulebook, and I'm sure Twitch chat's going to have some insight over there in that corner. That's where you are. Okay. Let's get through this. We're going to go through some skills and special actions first, and then we're going to go into the different rosters. First one that we took a while to figure out is that there is now stalling is judged differently. Now, if a player in possession of the ball when activated can score a touchdown without having to roll dice, but finishes their activation without having scored a touchdown, then they are stalling. And once a player is stalling, you roll a d6, and if the result is equal to or greater than the team's current turn number, the player is knocked down and a turnover is caused. So this means that from on turn 7 and 8, you just can't stall. On turn 2, you are going to get hit very often if you try and stall, meaning this stall rule set essentially punishes you from stalling early, which probably means if you're a fast team and don't want to, like, you're not incentivized to run forward and stall. You're incentivized to stay back and stall and then run past them or just score quickly. It's a weird one, and I'm not sure why they need to do that. Missing the fact that you can not... That it might be true that if you don't activate the player, it doesn't proc. The problem is that we don't currently know if you have to activate all your players and then do nothing with them before you can end your turn or not, because it seems like such a loophole. But then again, not moving a piece is, you know, I think it'd be totally fair to just not move them. It kind of also stops stalling a bit rather than, you know, running back and forth. So, yeah. Not activating them might actually mitigate this, which from a lore perspective would be weird, but totally possible. We also understood how hatred works now. It's if you knock... or if you block a player that has the same tag, racial tag, as your hatred, then you may reroll a single skull on the block die. Well, if a player has the ball and could score but rolls very stupid, then they have to roll a die, which it would never be applicable, because they can't score without rolling a die. Confused players stay confused unless you activate them. Well, I mean, again, we don't necessarily know how the end turn works yet, but that might very well be the case. Now, team captain is a rule that some teams have, mainly, as far as I can tell, humans and orcs, because both teams have been decimated in roster nerfs. What it does is when you create a team, you get to designate one of your players as team captain. That player gets pro for free, and then while the team captain is on the pitch, if you use a team reroll, you get to roll a die, and if you roll a natural 6, you don't spend that reroll. So if you have 3 rerolls, for example, you spend 6 rerolls over the whole game, you're likely to get 1 reroll back. The negative thing here is that the team captain cannot be kicked off the team unless they get a stat decrease. So they can stack up all the niggles they want, and you still have to keep them on. But once the player is dead and gone, or just left due to stat decreases, you get to pick a new team captain. Punt. New way to move the ball. Players with punt can use the punt special action. which means that they get a move action, and then at the end of that move action, and whenever they end the move action, they get to punt the ball. They get to take the throw-in template and end it either towards either of the end zones or the sidelines. Roll a d6 to pick direction, and then roll a d6 to pick how far the ball goes. If they have kick, they can re-roll either of these. And if the ball lands on a player, they have to try and catch it. If the ball lands on an opposition player, and they do catch it, there's a turnover. Otherwise, there's not a turnover. So you can potato stuff down the field if you want. Kind of. It's just tricky to do, or it's tricky to get in the position you want it to go. And if you roll a 1, the ball doesn't go very far. Hypnogaze is changed. It's now straight up 3+ rather than an agility thing. Let's get into the rosters, shall we? Holy shit, this is going to be so long, such a long video. The dwarfs, they've been nerfed. Probably, most likely. The dwarf linemen no longer have block, tackle, thick skull. They have block, defensive, thick skull. They no longer have strength as a primary skill. They instead have devious, which is a new skill group, and general. This means that the current in Blood Bowl 3 dwarf build that we see is all the linemen get them guard and mighty blow is now cost a lot more SPP. We still don't know how primary and secondaries work in the new rule set, but realistically it means it's gonna take them much longer to get guard and mighty blow, and you might not be able to build it as quickly, meaning the dwarfs might struggle a bit more early. The dwarf runner, well, you can have two of them. What else is there? Yeah, the death roller no longer has dirty player +2, so now there's even less of a reason to pick it. The troll slayer has hatred troll, which, you know, that's nice for them. And the dwarf runner has lost access to agility, which is actually a pretty big one. They can't get dodge anymore. And the dwarf blitzer is now the one that has tackle and diving tackle for some reason. So you still have some tackle on the team. It's just a lot less. The Chaos Dwarf team, I just put it here because it's also dwarf, is looking kind of like more dwarfy at this point. But they get 4 Chaos Dwarf blockers, which have block, Ironheart Skin, and Thick Skull. Unfortunately, their Bull Centaur now has Unsteady. Unsteady being the skill or trait, the nega trait, that means that you can't use the new Secure the Ball action, which lets you pick up the ball on a 2+, assuming there aren't any opposition players within 2 squares of the ball. So you don't have to roll with agility. Bull Centaurs can't do that. They have to roll with agility. So you're probably more likely to run it with a Hobgoblin, which is a bummer. Let's move on. Orcs and humans. Now, as you can see, they both have team captain, which means they get to pick one of them. Because of the idea that everything should come in one box, it means that the orc team has been decimated. Rather than having 4 blitzers and 4 big guns, they now only get 2 blitzers and 2 big guns. The orc blitzer comes with block and break tackle, whereas the big guns come with mighty blow and taunt. They also have thick skull and unsteady. It just means that they have way less. They have half the block they had previously. They have half the strength 4 pieces they had previously. They are forced to run more orc linemen, and the orc linemen are, I mean, they're okay, I guess. At least the goblin lineman has access to devious. Now, the orc team also has the special rule, Brawling brutes. We don't know what that is yet. I've seen speculations online that Brawling brutes would swap the reward SPP you get for casualties and touchdowns, But that seems extremely, extremely powerful. So, surely that's not the case. But hey, I have been wrong many times before. So, we'll just have to wait and see. The human team still retains their halflings. You can have 3 of them. But you only get 2 catchers. They are now strength 3. And you only get 2 blitzers. And they get tackle. Which I guess, you know, good for them. They just had a bad time as well. And their human linemen only have general as a primary, whereas the orc linemen have strength. So you could put guard on them, I guess, which is nice. That's like Amazon team, nothing as far as I know has changed. The Black Orc team, though, they have Brawling Brutes and Bribery and Corruption. But more importantly, the Black Orcs have Brawler and Grab. And they're not unsteady, so they get to use Secure the Ball if they want. So you don't have to carry the ball on a Goblin anymore. And they have a Trained Troll. The Trained Troll does not have Loner at all. Yeah, the fact that Amazons haven't changed and that we've lost a lot of tackle is kind of spooky. But I guess the counter argument is that the human blitzers now have tackle. So, you know. Chaos Chosen is very similar to previously. The Chaos Warriors, or Chaos Chosen as they're called now, they have armbar. Because you remember you can now get SPP if someone dodges away with you, you have armbar and they get hurt. You get SPP. I think the sneaky nerf here is that the Beastmen no longer have strength access as a primary, so you can't give them the Claw Mighty Blow Beastman is going to take a while and cost more, most likely. They also gained Thick Skull, I guess. Maybe they had Thick Skull before. I don't remember. But so they're, you know, slightly worse. Chaos Renegade. Previous version of Chaos Renegade looked very similar to this. The big difference is that the Renegade humans previously had no skills. They still don't have any skills, but now they also have animosity to everyone else on the team. So everyone on the team just hates everyone else, which seems rough. But the old world is now looking kind of interesting because they just straight up have the same like positionals that the teams come from, as far as I can tell. Like they have one human catcher, but it's the good version of the human catcher now. They have 3 dwarf linemen, but none of them have loner anymore, and the linemen have block and defensive thick skull. They have one, dwarven runner, 1 human blitzer with block tackle, 1 dwarven blitzer with block diving tackle and tackle, and so on. And while the ogre is still probably better, they have the good tree man that doesn't have loner either and has timber. So very, very exciting to to see how that actually plays out, because they kind of look interesting now. And I think this is partly because, yeah, they only have like 1 of each, but since some of the teams that could stack more positionals now can only stack 2, meaning orcs and humans. This feels slightly less bad. Dark Elf is another one of those teams that got hit with a nerf stick, because you usually want 4 blitzers and now you can only have 2. So to mitigate that, the Dark Elf runner now has punt as well as dump off, and the Dark Elf assassin now has hit and run, which works with stab, and it's also got movement 7. The Dark Elf blitzer, movement 7 and block. They didn't do much. The Witch Elf, also movement 7. Everyone gets movement 7, except the Dark Elf lineman. Elven Union. For some reason, they gave the Elf lineman Fumblerooski. Yeah, runners will probably rush pass or kick, depending on what they do. They're gonna rush pass, maybe. But the Elven lineman has Fumblerooski. Fumblerooski is a skill that lets you take a move action and then put the ball on the pitch at like the end of it. Meaning it's another way to move the ball because it's not a handoff or a pass. So in theory, a player with Fumblerooski could run up to, say, an elf thrower further up, or an elf catcher more likely. The elf catcher then hands up the ball and runs over to the other elf catcher and does a handoff, and all of a sudden you've moved ish like 6 + 8 + 8, which is 22 squares of movement. That's a lot. They also have an elf thrower with Hail Mary pass, so they can now just stand in the back and just hang out until it's, you know, turn 6, at which point they run the elf catchers forward. The elf catchers also have diving catch to sync up with Hail Mary pass, because remember, Hail Mary pass is like you can throw however long you want, but the ball's going to scatter. Diving catch means that if the ball ends up in a square around you, you can actually try and snatch it. So that's them. It actually gives the Elven Union some flavor as a pass move the ball team, so that's going to be exciting to see. But with only 2 elf catchers, I think they're still gonna struggle. Then we have the Imperial nobility and the goblins. Imperial nobility also looking better. The Imperial thrower has give and go, which I've heard is similar to running pass, meaning but for handoff. I haven't actually seen how it's written, but that's what everyone assuming. The Imperial thrower also has pro for some reason. I'm not sure when they would be using pro, because the thing I guess on pickups, because they come with pass and they pass on a 2+. The bodyguards are only movement 5, which is rough with wrestle, because they'll be on the floor and then they only get to move 2 squares. The noble blitzers block catch pro, but agility 3. And the Imperial retainer at 45 and fend is pretty good value. Like, they're all gonna get knocked out, and they don't have access to devious, unfortunately, so they probably don't get any foul skills. But good line fodder. The Goblin team, I'll be honest, I don't know what they had before or how this is different. But they also have the trained troll. So the trolls no longer have loner, which is actually a big deal. Did the Linos get buffed? I'm not sure. Let's yeah. Wait. I think Sakura is right. Didn't the Imperial nobility have, let's go look in the book. That's why I have the book here. Imperial nobility. Yeah, the Imperial retainer linemen used to be agility 4+. And now they're agility 3+. That is actually a pretty massive difference. They're also, the Imperial throwers used to be pass 3+. Now they're 2+. And both the blitzers and the bodyguards now do 4+ passing. I mean, it's unlikely to ever come up. But yeah, the bodyguards have actually gotten slightly better at passing. And the ogre used to be loner 4+, now is loner 3+. So some minor tweaks and improvements to the Imperial nobility. We're gonna skip the goblins. Lizardmen. There's the Saurus blockers now have Juggernaut and Unsteady, meaning the Saurus can't use the Secure the Ball skill, while the Skinks can. I don't know if I mentioned that, but if you have the big guy trait, you're also inherently unsteady. The only other thing that's happening here is that the Chameleon Skink has gotten pass access. And I think that's it. Yes. Have they gotten... Nope, they haven't gotten better at passing. They just have pass access. The Ogre teams, they also have Brawling Brutes. Yeah, I still don't know what that does. Unsteady just means that you can... It's a trait that means that you cannot use the Secure the Ball action. But it has also meant that some, like, the Bull Centaurs on the Chaos Dwarf team, they both have sure feet and they're unsteady, which is very funny. Yeah, Sakura, that's what I've heard, but I haven't heard it confirmed. And that seems so insanely powerful that I have a hard time believing it. But, because, like, there are a lot of teams that have Brawling Brutes. In any case, in Necromantic Horror versus Shambling Undead news, Shambling Undead got nerfed. They lost 2 of their ghoul runners. The ghoul runners that they have gained regen. And then the Necromantic, they just joinked the same ghoul runners. So they just got better. Because their ghouls just got the undead ghoul nerf without having to pay the cost of having less of them. The zombies have also changed in that they have unsteady and eye gouge, and eye gouge is another new thing. Which I don't have a clear description of, but I've heard that it means that they can't, if someone's pushed back, they then can't assist that turn, an opposing player. They also can't use Secure the Ball, which the skeleton can, but the skeleton doesn't have primary access to Devious, which is the fouling skill. And previously, I'd like to use the skeletons because they have 1 more movement as the foulers, because they can just get around and, you know... So, if someone loved Undead, sorry, Necromantic are just even better now. So, did they get much cheaper? Let's find out. Did Necromantic get much cheaper? So, it used to be, at least according to the book, which might have changed afterwards. Zombies, they're the same. Ghoul Runners, the same. Wraith used to be 95, now they're 85, with the same stat line and the same skills, assuming no ball is a new wording for no hands. Then the werewolves used to be 125, now they're 110. So 2 of the most the pieces you're always going to get have had their pricing slashed. They still have the same stat line as well. The Flesh Golem used to be 115, now it's 120. But, no, sorry. Now it's 110. I'm saying this wrong. Basically, I'm saying this very wrong because they're in a different order here than they are in the new book. So, let's go over it again. Wraith costs 10k less. Flesh Golems cost 5k less. Werewolves cost 5k less as well. So it's a cost-cutting across the board here. And it's that whites do get tackle. That's true. On the Undead team, I don't think they had that before, right? Well, I say it like of course they didn't have that before. But yeah, that's They also cost 5k more. Gold runners cost the same, and the mummies cost the same. I mean, paying 5k for tackle and thick skull, I guess. They also get thick skull. They didn't have that before. I guess that's okay. It is still not the enough of a buff to lose 2 ghoul runners, so at least in my mind. But it's something. And that's all the things I had. I'm sure there'll be more in the coming days because people have gotten access to the book. And what happened last time is that the photos just didn't stop coming. So we'll see what happens. Some changes I'm genuinely excited about. Some changes I'm like, what the fuck is this? And with that, I'm sure Brawling Brutes mean that they get 3 SVP for casualties and 2 for touchdowns. Which is actually going to be rough for the players that actually rely on the touchdown SVP, like orc throwers and stuff. As soon as I ended the recording, more stuff showed up. The vampire roster, which I don't have much to compare with. I don't remember the cost. Seems very similar to before. So, but here they are. Wood elves have the shittier tree that doesn't have timber and has loner 4+. They have 2 war dancers. They have, holy shit, Wood elves catchers gain sprint. So that means they have 11 movement out of the box. Okay. That's actually, I mean, I think that's cool for wood elves. They are so fucking fast. Yeah, they're down to 2 catchers now. Wood elves catchers have always been strength 2. Onwards. For Underworld, they have insignificant, which I don't know what it actually does. It might be rewording of swarming. They get 3 clan rats still. They get 1 thrower, 1 runner, 1 blitzer. I'm assuming the other things are here. Let me just double check my. Hang on. Okay, I had to double check that I hadn't accidentally cropped the pictures, but I hadn't. Animosity to goblins, but not to each other. And not to Snotlings, apparently, because Snotlings are not goblins. And then we have Nurgle, which also are Brawling Brutes. They have a Rotter Linemen that have Decay and Plague Ridden. They have a Pestigore that has Strength access, but you only get 2 of them. And has Steady Footing. Okay, so it's not swarming. Insignificant is something else. Okay. And the 4 bloaters get Stand Firm and Unsteady. Still has Foul Appearance. And Disturbing Presence and Regen. The Rot Spawn is still not called Beast of Nurgle, which is a disgrace. They also have a skill. They have something called Pick Me Up. Yeah, the fact that they only get 2 Pestigores is definitely not what you want, considering the fact that they're probably going to be carrying the ball since the Rotters have Decay. Isn't Pick Me Up the thing from the Boars? That's That's a weird thing to get. No, the thing from the trees is timber. Pick me up could be the same. I have Norse here later on. We'll see if they also have pick me up. Here's the Khemri. Four Tomb Guardians. Strength 5, movement 4, Brawler, Decay, Regeneration. 2 Blitzers. More importantly, none of these are unsteady, so all of these can secure the ball. Meaning, in theory, you could secure the ball with a Blitzer if you wanted to, because you're sure as heck is not gonna hand it off to something with agility 4+. Yes, the Pestigors have steady footing, which is the new thing that the Bretonnians have. The gnome team, I don't know if this is any different because I haven't played with them. They have the good tree. My ball is a skill. I think it means the Woodland Fox never gives the ball up to anyone else. Here's the Bretonnian team. They have their squires, 50k, come with wrestle and general access. The Bretonnian Knight catches 2 of them, 7, 3, 3, 4, 9. Catch, Dauntless, Nerves of Steel. So, oh, well, I was going to say that's a weird combo, but the other Bretonnian Knights, I guess all of them have Dauntless. Bretonnian Knight Thrower, Nerves of Steel, pass. Why are you so shit at passing? So, in total, Bretonnian can get 6 different types of knights. This is, like, I genuinely do not understand the teams that have both the catcher and the thrower be a 3+ roll. Block, Dauntless, Steady Footing. That's fun, but, like, at least make the Knight Thrower be, like, passing 2+ if you want to. It's also the... Wow, they're generally shit at passing. Okay. That's a bit of a bummer, but okay. Norse. Okay, where's the beer board? Yeah, the beer board does have pick me up. The Norse raiders are unsteady. This makes sense, I guess, with drunkard. But I like who's giving the ball to the Valkyrie? No one. The other Valkyrie, I guess. Yeah, the fact that the beer boards don't have devious is that. Well, I mean, you can still foul with them, obviously, but and for 20 costs, I mean, yes, someone could give it to the Valkyrie, but I just think it's weird that she has catch to begin with. Snotlings. They have this, right? The pump wagon. It's not a secret weapon anymore, which I'm not entirely sure why for lore reasons. And they also have trained trolls that don't have loner. I read the Games Workshop article where they talked about the pump wagon not having secret weapon anymore, so you could use the bribe to keep the other Snotlings on the pitch. And I'm like, my good sir, what Snotling here deserves to would you pay 50k to keep in when they all cost 30k or less? I guess except the pump wagon when it does foul. Also, the pump wagon, yeah, you get to have 2 of them. They're movement 5, strength 5, dirty player, juggernaut, mighty blow, really stupid, stand firm. And they get to have 2 trained trolls, meaning The Snotlings have 4, count them, 4 strength 5 pieces. So they're essentially Khemri. But then, of course, everyone else is just gonna die. Finally, here are this is the random table for all of the skills. So in theory, this should be all of the skills in the game. We can see, let's go through agility, catch, diving, tackle, dodge, defensive, hit and run. We've heard about all of these before. Jump up, leap, safe pair of hands, sidestep, sprint, short feet. All that makes sense. Devious, which is the new skill group, has dirty player in it. Eye gouge. Fumblerooski for some reason. Lethal fight. We don't know what that is. Lone fowler. We don't know what that is. Pile driver. It's probably what it was before. Put the boot in. We don't know. Quick foul. We don't know. Saboteur. We don't know. Shadowing. We do know. Sneaky git. We assume it's the same. Violent innovator. We don't know. General. As block. Dauntless. Fend. Frenzy. The assumption here is that they're saying that you can't use it together with certain skills. Kick, pro, steady footing. This is so there was some discussion that this might have been possibly been a trait because it's very powerful if it's working like we think it is, which means that if the piece gets knocked down or falls down, they get to roll the die, and if it's a 6, it doesn't happen. Then they have strip ball, sure hands, tackle, taunt, wrestle. Taunt is also new. Okay. Then again, it's in the general group, which has like block and tackle and wrestle. So it's probably not like the first skill you would pick. But it's definitely like a powerful random, possibly. So it would have also been cooler if it was a trait, to be honest. Mutations: big hand, claw, disturbing presence, extra arms, foul appearance, horns, iron hard skin, monstrous mouth, prehensile tail, tentacles, 2 heads, very long leg. Okay. Passing. Wow, there's so many skills. Accurate, Cannoneer, Cloudburster, Dump Off, Give and Go, Hail Mary Pass, Leader, Nerves of Steel, On the Ball, Pause, Punt, Safe Pass. So Punt and Give and Go are new. Oh, it could actually... Yeah, there's no Running Pass. So maybe Give and Go is just Running Pass. Strength has Armbar, Brawler, Break Tackle, Bullseye, which is a throw teammate skill. Grab, Guard, Juggernaut, Mighty Blow, Multiple Block, Stand Firm, Strong Arm, and Thick Skull. Okay. They managed to remove a lot of skills and put them in Devious. So... those are all the new thing that I have seen in like the last 5 minutes. So hopefully I get to end the recording now. If so, please let me know what your comments are and reactions in the YouTube comments. And thanks for Twitch chat for giving your comments. All the skill... Oh, okay, let me see if I can find them. Actually, if this continues, I found them. Otherwise, please enjoy the video as it is. Okay. Let's speedrun these last few slides. Corn seems similar. There might be some cost changes here. I don't remember. They're also brawling brutes. Next, we have skills, I think. Oh, is there... Fuck. Is there only 2 corn gores? Yep. They got jump up? Did that fuck me. Actually, hang on. Hang on. That means that it's so much frenzy on this team. Only 2 corn cores? That's like... That's... This team was already tricky. But oh well. Yeah, but like... Have you noticed that like everything has thick skull now? So much thick skull. In any case, we have some new skills. I'm going to read them. I haven't seen them before. Lethal Fight. This is one of the devious skills. When this player is thrown as part of a throw teammate action... Lethal Flight, not fight. I'm pretty sure I've said fight throughout this video. When this player is thrown as part of a throw teammate action, if they land in a square that contains an opposition player, including if they bounce into a square containing an opposition player, and the opposition player is knocked down, then they may apply a +1 modifier to either the armor or the injury roll. This modifier may be applied after the roll has been made. If an opposition player suffers a casualty as a result of being knocked down by the thrown player with this skill, then this player will count as having caused the casualty and will receive star player points as appropriate. A player without right stuff trait cannot have this skill. What? That is more useless than armbar. What a shit skill. Like, this is the problem. They did the same thing with fucking passing, where they're like, holy shit, we have to have as many skills in each skill group, that they just added some random shit. The thing that's good about this skill, though, is that if you were to random, and you don't have right stuff, you can't get that skill. So it actually makes randoming devious slightly better, in theory. Lone Fowler. When this player performs a foul action, if there are no assists providing an offensive or defensive assist, then this player may reroll a failed armor roll. That's fun. I like that skill. It might not be that great, but it's fun. Yeah, like the problem with Lethal Flight is not that people don't throw goblins, or it's that you have to get a skill on them first. And then if they have that skill, they are like worth almost twice as much in team value as they were before. And this only procs if you actually manage to land on something, which is fun but unlikely. And that's why throwing goblins are fun, because it's unlikely to work. Onwards. Fumblerooski, we've seen this before. When a player performs a move action while they're in possession of the ball, they may choose to place the ball on the ground in any square they move out of during their move action. This will not cause a turnover. I think, is this different than before? It might be, in that let's see, where is no, it's the same. It's just better worded. Yeah, they could. It's just this thing is just better worded than it was previously. And then finally, we also have Saboteur. When this player is knocked down as a result of an opposition player's block action, before the armor roll is made, they may roll a d6. On a 1-3, nothing happens and the armor roll is made as normal. On a 4+, this player's sabotaged weapon goes off, and the opposition player is also knocked down, though this will not cause a turnover unless the opposition player is holding the ball. If this player's sabotaged weapon goes off, then they are automatically knocked out, and the armor roll is not made for them. A player without the secret weapon trait can't have this skill. Wait. So this means that if I have a secret weapon with Saboteur, chainsaw, and someone else knocks it over, on a 1-3, that's normal, but on a 4, the player sabotage weapon goes off, and the opposition player is also knocked down, though this will not cause a turnover unless the opposition player was holding the ball. If this player's sabotage weapon goes off, then they're automatically knocked out and armor roll is not made. So they get KO'd, but the blitzer is knocked. The blocker or blitzer is knocked down. I get. When is that useful? Just, yeah, like, does so still apply? Because the Saboteur themselves are going to get KO'd. But do they get to roll a modified armor roll on the piece that knocked them down? It does prevent the sword from killing themselves, and it might get them, like, it makes this, I guess, secret weapon 50% safer from taking damage. For ball and chain. Yeah, but do you like, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's one of those skills that are fun, so I'm not against it. I'm just trying to figure out when it's useful to do it. And I don't know. And those are all the things I've had. This had to be enough. I'm sorry, everyone. Go do stuff in the comments. Goodbye.